Hi guys, once again welcome back to Phyrefli's Video Digest. As always, thank you very much for watching. Now, as you undoubtedly know, this week's been a monumentous week in the Battlefield universe. So what we're going to look at this week is we're going to start off with the results of the tournament from last weekend and also look at global conflict as well. Secondly, we're going to look at the special requests the EA mods are making of us over on the Battlelog forums. Thirdly, we're going to look at a subscriber request for opinions on different weapons and different servers and what they are and how they should be used. Finally, we're going to look at probably the biggest news of the week, that's the patch and the proposed Blackout. And we're going to close with a little bit of Tribes Ascend gameplay just to show you how the NG class works and a little bit of the tactics that go on in that game. So, as always, thanks a lot for watching. Hope you enjoy what's to come. Last weekend's Battlefield 3 Tournament.com was a very hard fought affair. The first map was Gulf of Oman, principally a vehicle map, and that's where the opposition Eagles tend to play very well. In fact, their helicopter, piloted and gunned by Synchronous and Savas, really ripped as a new one. However, Sign Crossing, the second map, is principally an infantry map, and that's where we managed to pull it back. So the score overall for BF3 Tournament.com last weekend was 3-3. A score which I can tell you from the Viper side, we were very happy with. On Global Conflict side, they had their first week of fighting last Saturday. And in fact, they've had so many new players recently, they had to use both their EU and North American servers at the same time. Now this is great news because it shows that there are still an awful lot of players and a lot of interest in a well-run large-scale tournament. So well done, guys. And one correction I do need to make from last week is that Global Conflict is not principally North American. It's North American and European Union. So whether you're in either of those two territories, you can take part in that tournament and have an awful lot of fun on a relatively local server because they've got one server in the EU and one server in the US. A few weeks ago, a new YouTube commentator called Kamshi put up his first YouTube commentary on the Mordor forums, or I'm sorry, that'll be EA UK forums for the one person that doesn't like the name Mordor, and asked for some feedback on his commentary. Now overall it wasn't too bad, to be honest. He's got quite a good voice for that kind of thing. But one thing that did really show up, and he received a lot of feedback on this from a lot of people, was his attitude to the way that people killed him and what his comments were about them. He was very negative, whether it was a claymore, an assault rifle or a shotgun that he was killed by. He almost always complained about it. Now this reminded me of something that a subscriber put up on this channel several weeks ago, which was, what is my opinion on RPG kills against infantry and other such tactics? Now my opinion on this is very clear. As long as you're not breaking a server rule or using a bug or something similar, do it. Because if you're not doing it, you're giving yourself a disadvantage. And other players will be doing it and giving themselves an advantage. There's no reason not to use a valid, viable tactic, whether that tactic is a claymore hidden around a corner or an RPG on infantry. You may not like it. For example, personally, I can't stand being 320'd all the time. And yes, I'll rant and rave and the odd swear word gets thrown out. But at the end of the day, it's my decision not to use it. And if the other person is using it and he's killed me, who's won? Who's lost? He won, I lost. So if the tactic's viable, if the weapon's viable, and you're not breaking any kind of server rule, go ahead and use whatever the game gave you because it's all valid. Unless you've been hiding under a rock recently, you'll know that there was a planned Battlefield 3 Blackout last Friday. Now I have to say, I wasn't even playing Battlefield 3 on Friday, I was playing Tribes Ascend and recording the engineer video, which I'll put a link to in the description. However, I'm not sure just how many people blacked out the game on Friday. Battlefield All did lead the charge and they worked with Mordor to be able to get it going. But how much of an impact is a blackout going to have when you've already bought the product? I can't see it really doing very much. If the entire community, and I literally mean the entire community, stop playing the game for 24 hours, then yes, that would have an effect. But just 2 sites, and even then not all of the membership on both sites taking part, Probably not. But what it looks like it's done is given Zinto a little bit of ammunition to take back to DICE and to say, look guys, if these people are getting so cheesed off and Battlefield or in general work very well with DICE, then we need to be doing something. So it looks as if the patch notes that have come out, although they certainly haven't been put together in 24 hours or so, it looks like they may have been released a little bit early based on the fact that there may very well have been a blackout for Battlefield 3. So I suspect that DICE, and rather Zinto, has used the anger within the community, channeled it through to DICE, used that to back up his own arguments within the company, and managed to extract something out of them. So although from a commercial point of view I don't think the blackout was worth even the paper it was written on, I do think it's had some effect, certainly within DICE. Now another thing on the same topic to keep in mind is this. DICE has your money. DICE has my money. The way that DICE looks at this game and its success is different to the way that you and I look at it. We look at it in terms of we want an in-depth game, we want team play, we want this feature, we want that. And it's important to realise that one part of the community may want one feature whilst the other part doesn't. Who does DICE listen to? Neither of them normally. It makes its own mind up. We can't affect in reality what's happening to Battlefield 3 because we've already paid. And from EA's point of view, as long as Battlefield 3 hit its sales targets, it's a success. Not whether it's got happy customers, and not whether or not there's X number of people playing every month or every day or every week. It's what the sales were, because it's a corporation. It's that simple. Why do people keep playing Modern Warfare when it's almost a reskinned game every year? Because they know what they're going to get. And that is what Activision look at. They know if they keep providing the same thing, they keep making great sales. And although they get a lot of complaints about Modern Warfare, the bottom line is people are still buying it, which means it's still a success in Activision's terms. And it's the same for EA. Customer happiness and your belief that Squad VoIP is necessary for the game don't pay wages and don't pay their shareholders. It's money. And the fact that we went out and bought the game is paying salaries and it's paying stockholders. So it's important to realise that what you and I as customers believe are the right things for the game and what should be in the game and is what is a success is very, very different to what EA and DICE, because obviously it's a part of EA, look at for the same thing. So please keep that in mind when you're looking at BF3 and trying to determine if it's a success. Try and look at it from EA's point of view. It's not nice, it's not pretty, and I'm definitely not saying it's not right. However, look at it from their perspective and you can probably start to get an idea of why they do some of the things that they do. Now, one final part on this section of the digest for this week in this edition is Kotaku. They've released, well, they put up a bit of a rant on their website about BF3 gamer entitlements and what we as a community are like. And I've got to say, there's quite a lot of this rant that I agree with. There's very few other communities that have quite the same amount of self-entitlement that the Battlefield community have. I'll put the link up to the article in the description for this video. Take a look at it and see what you think. I warn you now, there's an awful lot of swear words in there, and it's one heck of a rant. But it is a good read, and it is something that may very well get you thinking. So have a read of that, and please let me know what you think of it. Finally, I'd like to talk a little bit about Tribes Ascend. Now, this is a game I've been playing for a while. It's still in closed beta, and to me it feels very much like a worthy successor to the original Tribes games from back in the early 2000s. The video which I've linked to in the description shows some engineered gameplay which finally I've been able to unlock. Have a look at it, see what you think. It uses the TDM game type, Team Deathmatch, but within Tribes Ascend, TDM has a slight quirk to it in that there's a flag. The team that has the flag gets double the kills for every kill that you make. So it makes it a much more interesting game. As you'll see, I managed to set up a few turret traps for opposing players and didn't do that badly in the round. I have to say I was quite pleased with it. So have a look. Please keep an open mind with Tribes. Some people have said it looks like Halo. I can't agree or disagree because I've never played the game. But for me, it is a game that has a lot of depth, a lot of tactical gameplay, and when you add all the elements together, especially considering it's an FTP game, a free-to-play game, is an awful lot of fun and definitely something worth checking out. If you do play Tribes Ascend, please friend me. My name is Phyrefli. And that's it for another edition of the Digest. As always, thank you so very much for watching and listening. If you've enjoyed this video, please make sure that you like it, and if you've really enjoyed it, please sub to my channel. I do check every single sub, and if you've got some great videos on your channel, I'll sub you back. I also make sure I look at every comment and keep a record of the interesting ones to see if I can include them in a future digest. Enjoy your gaming out there, have fun, take care.